Hello, sparkling stars. Prajta is back again with Aarchi series by Heaven's Publishing House, Class 5, and the chapter is Weather Forecasting, chapter number 9. So, we all face different weather conditions. In this lesson, we'll just see how the weather forecasting is being done nowadays to avoid the calamities, the natural calamities which happens, to be safe from that, and how to overcome these natural calamities. We all will see the things in this lesson and how the weather forecasting has helped the people in being safe, being more safe in advance. So let's start. What are these? These are some natural calamities. Now, this is all your homework to find out which natural calamities are these which are related to water. Now, this lesson tells us about the changing patterns of the weather and how the forecasting is done, how the forecasting helps people to be safe and protect themselves from these natural calamities. If we can read the signs correctly, we can tell what the important changes in the weather will be. Telling what the weather will be like on the next day or the next few days is called weather forecasting. What is weather forecasting? We tell in advance. We know in advance what will be the weather in the next week or in next few days. No one can change or control the weather, but if we know about the weather of the next few days in advance, we can be ready for it. What all measures we have to take to keep ourselves safe, we can just try those things. The science of study of weather and its forecasting is called meteorology. The scientists are called meteorologists. So the science of weather forecasting is known as meteorology, and scientists are called meteorologists. Weather changes over 6 to 8 kilometers of the North Pole and the South Pole. We have two poles, North Pole and South Pole. So weather changes over 6 to 8 kilometers to the North Pole and South, and at 17 kilometers at the equator. The most of the world's weather changes due to the sea. The sea plays an important part in the change of the weather. Storms, clouds, and winds that begin in the ocean affect the weather on land. Weather stations cannot be made on ocean. Ships have to give the information to the weather stations. Now, in oceans, they cannot make a weather station. So, what they use, they take the help of the ship. They give the information. Nowadays, satellites have made weather forecasting much easier. Satellite pictures show the movement of the clouds and the storm. Now, through the satellite, we can see the movement, where the storm is about to come, where the clouds are forming. All these things are shown through the satellite picture. Weather is very important for all of us. We have learned to overcome the discomforts of weather by using air conditioners, room heaters, and the lowly umbrellas and raincoats. But when the weather changes, during the heat, when it's very hot, we use air conditioners. When it's cold, we use room heaters. So we have learned how to come out of the discomfort of this weather. Weather controls are like rain and snowfall, sunshine, and the daily changes in temperature determine our activities, clothing, and food. We wear our clothes according to the weather, we eat food according to the weather, and we do our day-to-day activities according to the weather. Weather is really important to the people who live by using natural wealth, like fishermen, farmers. It is also very important to those who risk their lives by traveling, like sailors and travelers by air. Those who are traveling by sea, those who are traveling by air, their life is also at risk. So the weather depends, like weather conditions, the weather forecast is very helpful for them. Therefore, the study of weather has developed as an important branch of scientific study. So weather forecasting is very important. Earlier, what used to happen? Earlier, kites were used to record the present weather conditions. Kites were used. Future weather was forecast on the basis of this information. One kite in the United States reached as high as 7 kilometers above the earth. Just imagine a kite going 7 kilometers above the earth. Weather balloons were also used to study and predict weather. Look, this is a weather balloon. These were large balloons filled with helium gas, which lifted them into the air. Scientific instruments like barometer, thermometer, and hydrometer were attached to the balloons. These instruments were attached to these balloons. Radars kept track of where and how far the balloons traveled. Do you know you can make hydrometer using your hair and a rubber band? With our hair and rubber band, we can make this hydrometer. Meteorologists need to use weather balloons even now. Even now, they require these weather balloons for the study. The first time weather conditions were recorded systematically was in 1840. It was done by the U.S. Army doctors. A group of U.S. Army doctors, they recorded the weather condition for the first time. All of us, whether we are scientists or not, can feel the weather changes on our body. Animals, birds and insects have a sense of the weather. Farmers and sailors can predict weather quite accurately by observing birds and insects. By seeing the birds and insects, their movements, they can they can predict the weather conditions. Red sky in the east, sailors love lead. The sailors who are on the ship, when you see red sky in the east, they don't like it. Red sky in the west, sailors love the most. When you see the red sky in the west, they like that. This is a saying. When you see ants carrying their eggs, be sure rain is to come soon. The small red ants, when they carry their eggs, means the rain is coming soon. Sometimes distant hills and tall trees seem to be very clear and near. You see, the weather is very clear. The distant trees are also visible very clearly. Then what it means? It means that there is a lot of water vapor in the air, and therefore rain will probably come. When this sounds, such as noise from a train, birds singing, people shouting, are very clearly heard, then wet and stormy weather is on the way. Birds, like swallows, fly high to find weather is coming, but they fly very near to the ground if rainy weather or a storm is on the way. So these are some predictions which animals and birds, they just show. These are the signs they give us that this is going to happen. If you see a rainbow during rainy weather, it is a sign that weather will become fine. We see a rainbow, it means when it's a rainy season and the rainbow is there, it means the weather is going to be fine. A mist appears in the early morning. When we get up early morning and the mist is there, hazy weather is there, when the day will be warm. Means the day will be very warm. If the sunset is mostly red in color, then the following day, the next day will be fine. Most of these sayings have come from people who have used their eyes and brains to forecast the weather. Popular beliefs, on the other hand, are untrue. Some beliefs are true, but there are many beliefs which are untrue also. People who say that they can predict weather by looking at the moon do not do so correctly. This is a wrong thing. Moon has nothing to do with the weather. Moon cannot predict anything about the weather. It only affects tides, but that is all about. Moon is just related to the tides. It can tell us about the tides, but not the weather. Do you know that no tribals or animals were killed in the tsunami which Andaman Islands in 2004? None of the animal or tribes were killed. Why? Why it was so? They sensed that the tsunami was coming and went to a safe, high place on the island. They just sensed out that some calamity is going to happen, natural calamity, and they just moved on from that place. Weather prediction is as old as man himself. The caveman must have observed birds in clouds, as we do, and come to some conclusion. That is why the science of weather forecasting has continued to grow. The prediction of weather has told many things to the human beings, had made them safe from the natural calamities. That's why the weather forecasting is still now continuing and it's growing. So, now what we get from this lesson? That distribution of rainwater on the earth. We come to know about the distribution of rainwater on the earth, and all living organisms on this earth, they need water to survive and fresh water for drinking. Humans need fresh water for drinking and agriculture. And if the weather forecasting is not there, the natural calamities will destroy everything if we don't get this weather forecast in advance. If the weather forecast is not done, we will not be able to know how the weather is going to happen in next few weeks or next month, or next few months or next few days, so that we can make ourselves safe. So the weather forecasting is very helpful for us. Now, whatever we have done in this chapter, whatever we have read in this chapter, let's see how much we have understood. Correct answer. Saying what the weather will be like for a few days is called, what is it called? It is called weather forecasting. The person who studies the weather is called meteorologist. Most of the world's weather changes due to what we read. Most of the weather changes due to seas. Keep track of where and how far the balloons travel. What keeps track? Those balloons which are being sent for weather forecasting. What keeps the track of that? The radars keep the track. And time weather conditions were recorded systematically was in 1814. Now, fill in the blanks. That is very important to all of us. What is very important for all of us? It's the weather. that can change or control the weather. What can change or control the weather? Weather forecasting. Most of the world's weather changes due to the what affects the weather? The seas. That were also used to study and predict weather. Previously, what was used? Kites. Kites were also used to study and predict weather. That kept track of where and how far the balloons traveled. Yes, we read the radar kept the track of the balloon. Now, match the following. Ants carrying their eggs. What do they show? What do they forecast? If ants are carrying those red ants are carrying the eggs, it shows that rain is to come soon. Distance is seen clear and near. So when the distance is clear and near, it shows a lot of water vapor in the air. Distant sounds are clearly heard. Distant sounds are clearly heard. Wet and stormy weather. Swallows fly high. When the swallows fly high, what is there? The fine weather is coming. Swallows fly near the ground. Storm is on the way. A mist in the morning. When there is mist in the morning, the day is very hazy in the morning. The morning is very hazy. So, shows the day will be warm. And sunset is mostly red. Shows the following day will be fine. Okay? Now, explain the given line. The study of weather has developed as an important branch of scientific study. What does this line tell you? The study of weather has developed an important branch of scientific study. How? We come to know about the weather. The weather forecast tells us in advance how the weather will be. It helps the sailors, it helps the fishermen, it helps the people who are traveling through air. It helps everybody. It helps the farmers to know how the weather will be in next few days. So the study of weather has developed an important role. Moon has nothing to do with the weather. Now people who say that we can forecast the weather by seeing the moon, we can tell how the weather will be. This is wrong. The moon has only the concern with the tides, nothing else, not with the weather. Now, answer the following question. How have you learned to overcome the discomfort of weather? How have you learned to overcome the discomfort of weather? By using air conditioners, by using room heaters, by using umbrellas, by using raincoats. Weather is extremely important. How? Weather is extremely important because on the cold weather, the weather affects our food, food habits, weather affects our clothing, weather affects our day-to-day routines, our activities. That's why the weather is extremely important for us. According to the weather, we wear our clothes. According to the weather, we eat food. According to the weather, we do our daily activities. What is called weather forecasting? As you all know, weather forecasting means knowing about the weather conditions in advance. How the weather conditions will be in next few days, next 15 days, next a month, how the weather conditions will be there. By whom was the first recording of weather conditions done and when? The first recording of weather conditions was done in 1814 by a team of US doctors, US Army doctors. That was the first time when the first recording of weather was done. Describe the weather forecasting sensed by the foreign. You all know. Till now we have known ants carrying their eggs. When the ants carry their eggs, it means the rain is about to come. Birds flying high means the weather is fair. Rainbow during the rainy weather. The rainbow, when the rainy weather is there, it shows that the weather will be fine. So, what have you learned from this lesson? This lesson says that weather is very important for human beings and weather forecasting is much more important for them because if we know the weather conditions in advance, we would keep ourselves safe, we would protect ourselves from the natural calamities. Thank you so much. Meet you soon.